The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on this fun-filled episode 239 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
So, how does a 5-year-old get hired for Star Wars?
For lack of better terms, I kind of became a closet Jawa.
Now, what kind of direction did George Lucas give you? Do you recall? Did he just say faster, more intense?
There was some pretty frustrating points for the crew because R2-D2's head kept falling off.
Did he have a vinyl cape or a cloth cloak? Peter Tork was a Skywalker. How long have I been waiting to say that?
My mother wrote to my grandmother at the time and said that I was in some second-rate B-grade science fiction film.
Because Skywalking Through Neverland is returning to the podcast stage for another interactive adventure.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets lab.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Neverland that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! Hey, you want to hear about life under a Jawa hood? Then we want to welcome you to Skywalking Through Neverland! We are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, and Marvel fandom. I am Richard Woloski, your tour guide through fandom. But now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife, the marvelous Mrs. Captain Sarah.
Oh, man! I love it. I am so Captain Marvel, like, all over the place. Like, I love it. But I won't talk about that yet. So, for now, let me just give a big Wookiee hug to our family of Skywalkers. We want to thank you all for listening to the show every week. And also, we have Facebook Live right now, which, oh my gosh, there's dozens of you on, and we are excited to welcome you and share in our discussion with you guys because you always contribute to the show and you make our show better. So we just love it when you share our joy in this adventure through fandom. Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on February 25th, 2019.
And now, Minnie, tell us what time it is.
It's 9:37. Good morning.
Oh.
Minnie should say Pacific Standard Time, so there's no confusion as to when we're recording.
Indeed. Oh, my goodness. Oh, she's so cute.
Yes, she is. All right, everyone. On this episode, we're going to talk with the youngest cast member of Star Wars: A New Hope. Well, back then it was just Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Tim Donaldson, who was 5 years old when he played a Jawa.
5 years old.
Yeah, at 5 years old, I was playing with my Mego figures, my Planet of the Apes dolls, and superhero dolls, and running around the neighborhood like Hong Kong Phooey.
Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy.
At 5, I was playing with my Little Ponies and making my mom really upset because I found out that if you put them in the bathtub and take their tails out, you can suck in the water and then squirt water all around. And my friend and I managed to mess up the ceiling of the bathroom by doing that.
See, we all had productive lives at 5. Only Tim was playing a Jawa. Now, we also have shout-outs, the return of Skywalker of the Week, and lots of things we want to share.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
All right, Skywalkers. Just when you thought Star Wars Celebration couldn't get any better, well, it just did, because Skywalking Through Neverland is returning to the podcast stage for another interactive adventure. Woo! Major announcement, breaking news.
Yes.
Oh.
And we have so much planned, and we can't wait for our triumphant return.
This will be number 3.
Yes.
Out of the last 3 celebrations that will be on the podcast stage. So we are super excited to be back. And now the schedule is being sorted out, but we are 95% sure our show will be held on that Friday, April 12th in the afternoon. So maybe write that in your schedule, 95%, unless something changes that we don't know about.
And for any of you Skywalkers who had seen our last couple of shows, you know we do a production. We're running around the room and playing games. Oh, so much. And I'm so happy that we're able now to finally announce this.
Oh, and Joey's asking a question. Sweet. When do I apply to help? Well, you know what, Skywalkers? We will be putting on Facebook. We'll be having a Facebook event. And in there, I think we'll be asking Skywalkers, because we always need our Skywalker helpers.
Yes.
You guys run the show.
We had stage hands and people handing out prizes, and Daniel Barry made a surprise cameo.
Yeah.
So we're going to need a lot of help to make this really run smoothly. And like always, we can't do it without you Skywalkers. So we really appreciate all that you do for us.
And speaking of that, we would love your help in planning the show. Since this is kind of a last minute thing, we weren't sure we were going to get in. Now we have to we got to plan our show. So we would love to know what you would like to see us do. Like, what would you like us to discuss? Or is there any interview that you think we could maybe have for that Friday? Or any games? Like, what was your favorite part of previous ones? And what would you like us to see do this time? Oh, and we also have to mention that Din Skysinger will be...
Din, lead singer of the band F-105. He is going to be debuting a great new Star Wars Celebration Fans Unite song.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I heard a sneak preview, a rough cut of it. It's really, really good. And we have surprises, but we still want to hear from the Skywalkers.
Yes.
Okay? We want to really hear if you're going to come see us, we want to make sure that you walk away with a big smile on your face.
Mm-hmm.
So please let us know.
We also want to let you know, Skywalkers, that if you aren't going to be able to attend Star Wars Celebration Chicago, we definitely will be recording this. And we have the gimbal, we have everything. So we're going to make sure that this podcast stage is recorded for consumption later if you can't be there with us.
Yeah, didn't we have some technical problems last time where we couldn't live stream?
I think so. So we may not be able to live stream, but we do get better video anyway if we natively record it.
Yeah.
So we might do that.
Either way, you're going to see it.
Yeah.
And Brian Sims is going to be there taking awesome pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so many great things to come.
Yeah.
And we're also going to be recording with Fantha Tracks. They're going to have their own booth set up.
Okay.
So we're going to have some time with them.
Nice.
Recording our own show within Fantha Tracks. And we're also going to be taking the stage with our good friend, everyone's good friend, James Floyd, on his panel, Star Wars Tourism, Visiting the Galaxy Far, Far Away.
Yes.
So put that in your schedule for Saturday, April the 13th from 6:30 p.m. until 7:15 p.m.
Nice.
Now, this is all about visiting the Star Wars filming locations. And Sarah, you and I had visited Tatooine, Naboo, and the Death Star.
Yeah.
So much to talk about. So thanks, James Floyd, for thinking of us for this.
Yeah. All right, that's our celebration update for now. Now, Richard,
Right.
we have another things we want to share.
We do, and this is some sad news, because as time slips by, so do our childhood icons, and last week, we lost Peter Tork of the Monkees, who just passed away 8 days after his 77th birthday.
Wow.
And he was still rocking the stage. At 77, 76 years old, the man could rock.
Wow.
Now, apparently, Peter meant a whole lot to you Skywalkers, since many of you posted on our Facebook page and our Facebook group, and apparently, Peter was a Skywalker. Peter Tork was a Skywalker.
Oh.
How long have I been waiting to say that? Because he had posted a show we had done with Monkees director James Frawley, And when James passed away about a month ago, Peter had reposted our episode with James. So with that, we can call Peter Tork a Skywalker.
Oh.
Now, do you know who else was a big Peter Tork fan?
Well, I know Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill was a huge Monkees fan. In fact, when we saw the Monkees in concert for their 50th anniversary concert, Mark Hamill was there in the room with us.
Oh.
We can now say that we saw the Monkees with Mark Hamill.
We watched the Monkees. We were there.
And Mark Hamill had posted this right after Peter Tork had passed away. He posted this on his own personal Twitter account. So sorry to hear we lost Peter Tork. The Monkees never got the respect they deserved. Their music catalog remains one of the richest in pop history. Thanks for being such a big part of my childhood and beyond, Pete.
Aww.
Oh, man, I need a second.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I had met Peter Tork back in 1986 when it was at a concert that had to be canceled because of a storm had shaken it was going to be held outside, and a storm had shaken the stage loose. So for safety's sake, they couldn't perform. So we found out what hotel they were staying in.
Oh.
And all of us monkey fans are running around trying to catch a monkey, and my sister caught Davy Jones in a hallway somewhere and got a great picture with him.
Wow. You weren't with your sister?
No, she was out. We separate and conquer.
Okay.
Yeah,
divide
and conquer. Yes. And I'm running around, and I was wearing my red shirt with the 8 buttons.
Yeah.
I had made my own shirt back then, my own monkey shirt, and I'm running around, and I'm zipping past this guy just sitting on a post, watching all the mayhem, and then I stop and look, and it's Peter Tork. And I'm going crazy. There's Peter Tork. This is the first time I'd ever met a monkey that close. I'd seen him in concert at that point, but I've never met a monkey. And there he was, and he said...
How old were you at this point?
I was 17.
Okay.
And he said, you ran by me like 8 or 9 times. Yeah, I'm aware of that now. And I'm talking to him a mile a minute. I'm so excited. And we were next to this brook, and he's looking down at all this litter. And he's like, I can't believe all this litter, and people are just trashing the earth. And I'm going, hey Peter, do you still have your red monkey shirt like the one I'm wearing right now? And hey, do you still have the monkey mobile? And he's looking at me like, dude, come on, that was 20 years ago. Do you still have the shirt you had 20 years ago? I'm doing the math. Well, I wasn't alive 20 years ago, but 17 years ago, yes, I still have the clothes that I wore back when I was a baby. I don't throw away anything.
No.
So I remember just asking him all these random thoughts. Like, what's your favorite monkey song? And he's trying to talk to me about land conservation, about the earth, about pollution.
I can totally understand that you're like so excited to meet someone that all these thoughts are coming to your head, and they're just popping out. You can't take anything in at that point.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm trying to gather at that point 17 years of excitement and questions and thoughts and appreciation all in that one moment, and it just didn't work out.
Oh, that's like the first time I met someone who I didn't know who also loved Star Wars, and I was like, so it was like, oh, this is someone new, and I can talk about oh my gosh, and I did the same thing. Like, I just it was like an eruption of thoughts, and I was shaking. So were you shaking too?
I'm sure I was. I'm sure I was, and I think I blacked out at that moment because I don't remember anything else that happened.
Oh.
And then there's a theater in Hollywood that played a Monkees TV marathon, and also played their movie Head, and the Monkees were there in the audience, and Peter was sitting right in front of me. This is at what's that big famous theater in Hollywood? Not the El Capitan, not the Grauman's Man LOL theater.
Arclight? The Egyptian.
The Egyptian theater,
Okay.
yes. And there's Peter Tork sitting right in front of me watching the Monkees, and I kept watching him, watching everybody else.
I bet.
And it was so nice because when people would react to something on screen, he would look over and smile, and he would take in the appreciation for the Monkees.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I don't even ask me what episodes were aired because my eyes were just glued on him watching everybody.
That's awesome when you can do that. I mean, because you've seen these episodes how many times? So you might as well watch him.
Plus the fact that I'm sitting in front of a monkey watching the Monkees. It was like Inception.
Nice.
Now, Peter, he didn't have the best vocal range of all the four guys, so he didn't sing a whole lot of songs. But I can say his greatest work came on the 2017 album, Good Times. And this was an album that hit #1 on the Amazon top record list.
Nice.
Oh, I was so happy about that. And Peter also played in his own band called Shoe Suede Blues. This is where they played bluesy numbers of his own songs, of Monkey songs. And I can also say for me, one of my favorite songs of all time, not just of Peter's, but this so happens that Peter sang this song. This came on the second Monkees album, More of the Monkees, and that song is Your Auntie Griselda.
She knows her mind all right, your Auntie Griselda. She says she knows my kind, she might maybe so. Oh yeah, she's raised you right, your Auntie Griselda. You only know the things she wants you to know. I know she's having a fit. She doesn't like me a bit. No bird of grace ever lit.
His voice is like perfectly made for that song.
Oh, very much so. And I can say I get my best workouts when I play the Monkey songs. And when that song is just so silly and fun that I just go to like the greatest lengths running on the treadmill while I hear that song.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's another song that he sang with Mickey Dolenz, and that song is Words. Now, Sarah, does this song ring a bell?
Oh yeah, this is like one of your favorites.
Yeah. Go deeper.
Oh, wait, is this a words never were true?
Yeah, but why is the song so special for us?
Because I had never heard it until you sang it at karaoke on our first date. And I thought you sounded pretty good because we had a bunch of what's that drink?
Mai Tais?
No, Mai Tais. No, the iced tea.
Oh, Long Island iced teas. Yes. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. I'm on a first date and I get to sing Words? Oh my goodness. Oh, this girl is going to want to marry me after this. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the recording of me singing Words, but this is Peter Tork and Mickey Dolenz singing Words.
Don't you know every time I see you smiling, so bad 'cause when I see you I start trying to stop, but there's no denying. Love with you, girl, is just like dying. Oh, don't walk away. Oh, how can I make you stay? Don't turn away. I can still hear you saying those words that never were true, spoken to help nobody but you. Words with lies inside, but small enough to hide till your plan was through.
Oh, well, great tribute, and yeah, it's a sad day.
Yeah,
But-
it was a very sad day because even though Peter had been sick for a while, he had a very rare tongue cancer.
Oh no.
Even though you're expecting it, when it happens, it's unexpected.
Well, I mean, he did have a great life and touched so many people, including you.
Very much so. Very much so. All right, from there, let's blast off and give our very quick review of the upcoming Captain Marvel.
The future of our world is at stake.
You have a mission.
How do I look? Fresh.
On March 8th. Is this normal?
Pretty much.
Go higher. Go further. Go faster.
About to show these boys how we do it.
Captain Marvel. You know you're glowing, right?
This film contains scenes that may be too intense for younger viewers.
And this will be a spoiler-free review. We just saw a media screening of Captain Marvel, and when we were writing the show notes, we were actually at the press conference for Captain Marvel. So it's in our brains, and can we just say right now, it was Captain Marvelous.
Ah, there you go. That's it. That's it. So the Marvel studio told us we can't really say too much until March the 5th.
Okay.
But they did say we can give a very quick review.
A quick reaction.
A quick reaction, yes. And, like you said, it is marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
After seeing the trailers, I was so unimpressed.
Oh, okay,
I thought it was just going to be, all right, it'll be another superhero movie. I love the Marvel films. I'll go and see it, but not going to expect much. But do you recall when you saw Ant-Man? It was such a different kind of Marvel movie.
Yes.
This is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were unimpressed by the trailer, stop watching the trailers.
Yeah.
Because it's a fantastic film.
Yeah, in fact, I love it because, it goes back to the 90s. And so you get certain characters. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson's in the movie. So you see
a very young Nick Fury.
Yeah, Nick Fury, and he's not in charge of everything yet, so we see him young. We see
he still has hair and 2 eyes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And
Coulson is back.
Coulson too. And we actually saw them both at the press conference, and they both mentioned how they loved playing naive, younger characters. It was nice to not have the weight of the world on their shoulders yet.
Justin Smith is asking, are they in a blockbuster a considerable amount of time? Because in the trailer we see Captain Marvel crashing through a Blockbuster video store, and that's pretty much all you see.
Well, let's just say that the Blockbuster is a nice reference, but that's about all it is.
Yeah,
so.
you see her in the store and walk out, and that's pretty much it.
But it's still it's like the perfect amount. They use it the perfect amount, really. But so our overall thoughts. I mean, I think it really ties together the MCU in the past and the present.
Yeah, and I know this is what I said when we left the theater, and I'll say it now. I was so disappointed that Marvel can do what Star Wars is not doing right now.
Well, your exact words were, "I'm jealous of Marvel."
That's right, because this film just makes so much sense in the Marvel universe. Everything is tied together, and why is this not happening with Star Wars? I was so jealous.
Yeah.
They were making reference to other films. They're tying things together. And every plot point, every beat is just falling so into place while giving us a whole different film.
Right.
Now, like Solo was a whole different film than the other Star Wars films. And that's what, for me, just made it above and beyond expectations. Because it was back to the roller coaster fun. Whereas the saga films are really heavy. They're heavy to watch. And Solo was just so much fun. A roller coaster ride. And this film here is a whole different... It's a departure from the Avenger movies.
Well, and I also... Just a point to make is that it's also a very different origin story.
Yes.
And
oh, yeah.
It's very different than your regular origin story, but in a good way. And my advice to you when watching the film, the first 15 minutes can be a little like, what's happening? So
jarring.
Just make sure you pay attention and really soak in those first 15 minutes because there's a lot of puzzle pieces that are thrown out that then start falling into place.
Yeah, I would even say 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
They start giving you... It's very Tarantino-esque.
Yeah.
Because they're giving you different points of a timeline that is not linear.
Right.
And that's a good point that you had just made, Sarah. It's a origin story that is much different than the other origin stories. Very much like Ant-Man. We've never seen an origin story like that structurally. So structure-wise, A+.
And also some advice, if you're not quite caught up on the MCU, because I noticed in some of our comments on our social media, some people aren't. If you're caught up on the MCU, you'll get more things. But if you're not, it's still a good movie on its own. It stands on its own. But to really, really understand all the references, you really should be watching Infinity War.
You'll get it on a much deeper level.
Yeah.
But it still works for someone just coming into the MCU.
Yeah.
Brie Larson was very good in this. Samuel Jackson was good in this, as was Reggie the cat.
Yes, Reggie.
Who was a scene stealer.
He plays Goose. And Goose, of course, is named after Top Gun.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. And actually, in the comics, Goose is named Chewie. But they changed it for the movie. Yeah. But I think they thought people would be confused, so they named him Goose. Just so you know. But yeah, so Reggie the cat is amazing as Goose, and like you said, a scene stealer. Absolutely.
Yes. We shouldn't really say much more.
No, he's just a great
about
cat.
His role.
Gotta watch the film, but
we can say that Reggie, aka Goose, is very snuggly.
Oh, yes, we can, because we met him.
We can say that firsthand. We posted this video
on Instagram.
Because they let us meet Goose the cat because of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we were at this press conference and we decided we didn't have somewhere to be for several hours, so we decided to hang back and find a nice place to write our show notes for this week's episode. And all of a sudden, and earlier that day, there had been a live feed of Goose the cat. And thanks to Trisha Barr for letting me know about this. So I'm like, I'm at the press conference right now. I wonder if Goose the cat is here. And what they do at press conferences is they have different rooms where you can have one-on-ones. And only,
Entertainment Weekly and Variety and Hollywood Reporter.
Exactly. They get all the one-on-ones. We've never been that big to get that. But... Yet, exactly. So one of these rooms had a sign on it that said, "Quiet on the set. No peeking," or something like that. And we were sitting on a couch right near this sign, and all of a sudden I heard one PA come up to another PA who was standing outside the room and saying, how's the cat sitting going? And my ears went, what? What's going on over there?
It's like Aquaman herring the underwater sea life.
Yeah. So then what happened a little while later?
And then we went over to the production coordinator, or the woman standing outside with a clipboard. You always go to the people with the clipboard and said, "Hey, is there a waiting list to meet Reggie the cat?"
Yeah.
And she looked at us, and I was wearing my Marvel jacket. Sarah was wearing her Captain Marvel jacket. And she said, wait right here. Came back and said, just hang out for a couple of minutes, and I'll come right back. And like 3 minutes later, came back and said, come on in. Like,
we jumped up off the couch. We were like, and we ran in.
Yeah, we were like spring-loaded.
I know.
Boom, right over there.
So we went in, and there's this great, beautiful set. You'll see it in our Instagram video. But the trainer was there first. We didn't see Goose the cat, and the trainer was like, "Okay, now settle in, and I gotta let the cat settle." She was like training us.
She could see how excited we were.
Yeah.
It's like, meeting Brie Larson? All right, maybe later. But meeting Goose the cat? Come on, how often do you get this?
Yeah. And so, yeah, he turned out to be so sweet.
Yeah, and they brought Goose out, and Goose jumped up on her, or his little pedestal, and looked at me and Sarah and just started snuggling.
Yeah.
This is the snuggliest cat I've ever met.
He loved your jacket.
He loved my Oppo suit Marvel comic strip jacket.
Yeah.
He loved all the bright colors. He was really attracted to the reds and Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Yeah, so he snuggled. He like headbutted both of us. He would like snuggle our heads back and forth.
Oh my God. We just couldn't take the cuteness.
I know.
It was just overbearing. Overwhelming, over everything, over my expectations.
Yeah, so now our favorite TV cat is obviously Goose the cat.
Yeah, sorry Morris and Toonces. There's a new cat in town, and his name is Goose. All right, well, like we said, we're going to have our full comprehensive episode on Captain Marvel. We'll do this the week after the film comes out, so you'll get a chance to see the film and take it all in.
Yeah.
And this film, Captain Marvel, comes out to a theater near you on March the 8th, 2019.
2 days before my birthday.
Woohoo!
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Carrie.
What's cute? I'll be back.
Now, back in December, we had our good friend Eric Walker, who was the original Mace Tuwani, the original Mace, in the Ewok Adventure movie and the Battle for Endor. He was on the show to promote his new inspirational Star Wars dance song, Dare to Dream. This is an earworm if there ever was one. And he mentioned during our discussion that he wanted to do a music video and wanted me to direct.
Woohoo!
What? Okay, let's do this. So right after we had met with Bryce Eller on my birthday, we went over to meet with Eric and had our first production meeting about Dare to Dream. Love this song, and I couldn't wait to dive in full force because this is going to be such a fun video to make. Now, we shot a couple of days on a green screen stage. Then, yesterday, Sunday, we shot another big day at Woodley Park in Van Nuys.
Yeah, and a lot of Skywalkers came out to help. So we want to give big thanks to Kai Charles,
Christopher Marino,
Adam and Bobby Joe Medina, and their 4-year-old daughter, Aurora, who actually played Sindel from the Ewok Adventure.
And with an awesome costume made by you, Sarah.
That's right. I made the Sindel costume. It looked so adorable.
Well, that was such a blast seeing Sindel and Eric, who played Mace, to see them back together again. Hashtag Mace lives.
And if you follow our social media, you'll see pictures of everyone in costume, and including Aurora as Sindel.
Yeah, and Christopher Marino just popped up as a face hugger. That was fun. Yeah, Christopher Marino, he was Jango Fett.
Yeah.
So when you see the video and you see Django, that's our friend Christopher. We also want to give a huge thanks to Matt Baird, Sam Finkelstein, and the very hard-working dance crew from Lucky Strike Film Studio.
And also, I believe Eric Walker's niece and nephew were there as well.
Yes.
And they did a great job.
Yeah, they played the Ewoks.
Oh.
And now we want to include more of you Skywalkers in this video. And we want you to send in clips of you dancing along to the song, either in costume or out of the costume. We just want to see you dancing along to this number, okay? Now, we're going to post the instructional video clip in our Facebook group and our Facebook page as well.
Yeah, and it'll give you the dance, and it's really easy.
Yeah, it's about a minute, and you don't have to do the whole routine. Just do as much as you can, and we would love to see that because we want to include the Skywalkers in everything we do.
Yeah, so we're actually gonna use some of those video clips, right?
Oh, yeah.
In the
Those
music video.
clips will be inserted in the video.
Yes.
So we'll have clips of the green screen stuff that we shot, the stuff in Woodley Park, and we're going to insert the clips of you Skywalkers dancing along too. Now, you can send those clips to share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Yes, so please send them in by Monday, March 11th. But of course, the sooner, the better.
And once again, this song was written by Eric Walker and ACM, aka Buddy Mix.
It is on Tatooine that the robots C-3PO and R2-D2 will encounter the young farm boy, Luke Skywalker. It is also on Tatooine that they will be confronted by the Jawas, bright-eyed wanderers of the wasteland. Tiny, scrappy creatures, the Jawas are known to deal in slightly used and often stolen droids. Scavengers of the desert, they are not nice people to run into when out for a stroll, as R2-D2 discovered in this scene from the film.
We've been hearing behind-the-scenes stories about the making of Star Wars for over 40 years, but they are always so much more exciting to hear from someone who was actually there.
Now here is Tim Donaldson, who is one of the youngest cast members on Star Wars, playing a Jawa.
Hey, Tim!
Hey, good evening.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show here and sharing all your behind-the-scenes stories that I'm guessing not a lot of people have heard until now.
Well, nobody that's not close to me. I've, of course, told it for 40-some years, but in very small circles.
All right, well, our ears are wide open.
Yes.
So tell us about this whole ordeal about playing a Jawa, and you were 5 when this all happened. So how does a 5-year-old get hired for Star Wars?
Well, it's my understanding that majority of the filming took place in Africa and in Tunisia.
Right.
When they came back and started doing the final editing, one of the roles or a few of the roles of film had been damaged when they came back to the United States. And additionally, George Lucas wanted to film some pickup scenes around the Tatooine scenes. So he tasked his crew, since they were far over budget, they couldn't go back to Africa.
Huh.
He said, we need to find a place similar geologically to what we were filming over there. And they came to Death Valley, and my parents lived there. They're in the were in the National Park Service at the time. And so we lived there as a family.
So you just happen to be right place, right time.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it ended up. So George Lucas and crew came to the elementary school where I was in kindergarten because they already had Jawas in previously filmed scenes. We had to match as best we could, so they had dimensions height-wise of what those Jawas were, and they lined us all up. And the Death Valley Elementary School was kind of a little house on the prairie type school. It was a one room building, and they just all pulled us all in and lined us up and measured us. And those of us, the 8 that were lucky enough, got chosen as Jawas, which of course at the time we had no idea what that was.
And George Lucas was there too?
Yes, yeah, he was there. Gary Kurtz was there, I think, and a few other people, that maybe 5 or so at the most.
Wow, I could just imagine all these little kids lined up in a row. I remember doing that as a kid, and I'd always be like the shortest one in the class.
Well, then you would have been picked then. But I can imagine this Hollywood van pulls up next to this little house on the prairie school and say, "All right, kids, line up."
Yeah. And then the next part is they wanted to take us to the motel and have us dress up in costumes.
Woo, fun!
All right, this is getting strange.
Yeah, which that wouldn't happen today.
No, not without 15 security and 17 parental
guardians.
Yes, yes. So when you were all being chosen, were you definitely in, or did they say, Tim is a half an inch too tall or too short? Did you just make it right in?
As far as I know, I don't have a whole lot of memories, understanding that was 42 years ago.
Right.
But I do know that my sister, she's a couple of years older than I am, she remembers that she was a half an inch too tall.
Oh, no. Oh.
Yeah, and she's still upset to this day, by the way.
Oh, no. Is she a big Star Wars fan?
No.
Oh, huge. Yeah,
She's
huge. And in fact, some of the behind the scenes Jawa photos that are out there from Death Valley, she's actually in one of them because she came out to the filming with us. And then she also took the picture of me where I've got my big cheesy grin.
Yeah.
That was a picture that she took.
Aww.
That's an awesome picture of you.
Oh, thank you.
So you get to the motel, and then what happens?
So the first day, we were trying on the costumes and getting the fit right, getting all the gear. I remember specifically trying on the Tusken Raider helmet that day because they did some filming of those scenes there as well. We got to play with their staff, and so the first day, that's pretty much all it was just fitting for the costumes.
When you put the hood on, you've got those eyes that light up. Were you able to see in the Jawa mask? And how good was the visibility?
So only a few of us wore that mask. as far as I know, only one of us did, but there might be more than one. But we just kept the hoods up over the top, and they just never show our faces.
Oh.
We did try them on. It was just a black hood with a couple of eye cutouts, and then the eyes, the glowing eyes, were down lower, like on your cheeks.
Okay. So you were able to at least see a little bit.
Right.
But that's interesting. So in the scenes that you shot, you pretty much, your face was exposed. They just weren't exposed to the camera.
Correct.
Okay.
And what did you think as a 5-year-old of these costumes? Because when I was 5, I loved creatures and monsters and things of this sort. Did it make an impression on you? What did you think? Do you recall?
Well, I hate to say it, but we were kind of sheltered, living in Death Valley National Monument. I didn't have a lot of interaction with movies or anything like that. At that point in my life, I hadn't worn anything close to that. I mean, if you can imagine living in Death Valley for your entire life, I don't even know if we own jackets.
It's just Death Valley.
Yeah.
Right. And here, they want you to try on this, enormous, bulky robe.
Right.
And try and run around in it. I think I wore shorts my entire life until I was probably about 7 or 8 years old.
Wow.
I guess a chilly night in Death Valley is when it gets to like 95.
Yeah, something like that. The good thing is they did film at some point during the winter. It was late winter that we think it was filmed, either January or February, but we're not really sure.
Nice.
So you get your Jawa outfit, you're chosen, you're cast, and they bring you out to the set in Death Valley. And what did they tell you about the scenes, or do you recall what scenes that you were in?
So the filming that we started, even though I believe they used the Africa scenes eventually, is when R2-D2 is shot and he falls over. At that point, we did film running up to R2-D2, which it just must have been chaos. 8 kids that had never done anything acting wise ever, trying to take direction from these strangers, and I can't even imagine how George Lucas handled it that day.
Yeah, half of those scenes were the Tunisian shoot, and they would cross cut between the Death Valley shoots, because Sarah and I have been to those locations.
Mm-hmm. I remember looking over that canyon and being in the canyon.
Yeah, and going, wow, this is Tatooine, and we could spot every single area which they have used for those pickup shots.
Now there was some canyon shots that were done, and I remember being there. I don't remember if I'm in the shots or not. Again, a hypnotherapist or hypnotist might help that out a little bit someday. I don't know, but
and you were saying these are what kind of shots?
The canyon shots.
Oh, right.
Where we're peeking out of the crevices from under a rock, rolling the rocks down, stuff like that. That was quite a bit of that was our Death Valley scenes.
Are any of those peking Jawas you?
I was there. I just don't remember what side I was on.
Okay. Yeah, those peking Jawas, you could see their glowing eyes. So if you'd never wore that mask.
Yeah. Right.
Now, what kind of direction did George Lucas give you? Do you recall? Did he just say faster, more intense?
Boy, I don't remember a whole lot of that. I do remember that there was some pretty frustrating points for the crew because R2-D2's head kept falling off.
Oh no!
It was actually one of the ones that was used by Kenny Baker to be in, and the head wouldn't stay on. So every time we were trying to carry it horizontally, the head would fall off, and eventually they taped it on with some sort of tape. So it would stay.
All right, so now you're in the scene where the Jawas capture R2-D2. Do you know which Jawa you were?
I do have memory of that. I was on it would be the left-hand side of R2-D2 in the middle.
Oh.
Okay, so you're one of the Jawas carrying R2.
I am, yeah.
You get a key role right there.
Wow.
Yeah. We ran down, we picked him up, and once we finally were able to get up the hill, we walked up the hill that's there at the the artist plate there in Death Valley. It's on that loop. That's one of the famous places that people go.
Yeah, we've been there. In fact, I've gotten some rocks from that location, and it's in our garden right now.
Yeah, that's a felony, by the way.
Yeah, I know, though, which is why I say they were handed to me by a stranger.
This is one of those things that you cut out of this.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, so I was kidding about that, wink, wink.
Right. So, and I also remember setting R2-D2 down, and then it must have been shot at a different location, but I actually remember walking upstairs onto the flatbed trailer, like a flatbed semi-trailer, and that was the scene that the crawler was then imposed on, where we were walking up inside of it.
Right.
This is after that the vacuum sucks R2-D2 up into the sandcrawler, and there's a few of you walking up the stairs.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and I believe the other Jawa was Gary Kurtz's daughter.
Neither Melissa nor Tiffany were in Death Valley.
Oh.
So
okay.
Whether they used our filming or their filming, I'm not really sure which one is in the actual movie.
Okay. I have to do some more research on that one.
Yeah. We do know now the names of all 8 Jawas.
You mean the names of the actors or the actual character names?
No, the actors. So we know all 8 of them. We were all 8 school kids from Death Valley.
That's so cool.
Do you guys have your own club?
No, and we've only found 3.
Oh man,
So-
you should start your own Facebook group.
Yeah.
I know. So to be honest, if anybody has ever heard of anybody talking about it being a Jawa in Death Valley, have them come out. So
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be a great picture to get at like a convention. Have all the 8 kids holding up one of those R2-D2s that the R2 model builders build.
Right.
That would be a fun picture, like to reunite all the Jawas.
Yeah, and someone needs to give you like a Jawa cloak so you can wear that at signings.
Or do you already have one?
Yeah. No, I do not have. But no. And I get a lot of, I thought you would be shorter.
Oh, aren't you a little tall for a Jawa?
Yeah, I am now.
Do you now? I know they went to your class, and so your classmates are in this too. Do you remember having like a best friend or a good friend who was doing this with you?
Yeah, my best friend from Death Valley at the time was Joseph Weber, and he's actually starting his signing here in a couple of months. He's going over to the London Spring Comic-Con with Showmasters, I believe.
How fun!
Wow. Can you imagine going back in time saying, in 42 years, this is going to be a whole new career for you?
Right?
Signing autographs.
Yeah, it's been absolutely unbelievable. It's just basically been about the past year. Well, it hasn't even been that yet when we did our first signing. So they found 2 of us right off the bat, myself and Andrea Wickman Miller. She's also from the Death Valley scenes. And we went over to Birmingham, England last summer, and that was our first official event signing autographs. So it's only been about a year.
Wow.
And to be honest, I had no idea this existed. I never even thought it possible.
Now, when you say that they had found you, who exactly is finding these kids who are now full adults who could be anywhere in the world?
There's people that do research, and I was approached through Facebook and asked if I would be interested in doing signings. And to be honest, I was pretty skeptical in the beginning. I didn't really understand why somebody would want to pay me good money.
Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea.
It's been a whirlwind trip for about a year. But we kind of, went back and forth lightly, and finally these 2 gentlemen came to the house and up here in Sacramento, and we sat down in my dining room, and I signed, probably a few hundred pieces anyway. And I don't think it really hit home until I signed this enormous poster that had Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, George Lucas, and everybody on it. And it's believed that poster's actually believed to be the most complete collection from the first 3 films on one piece of paper. And I just, to be honest, that basically took my breath away.
Wow. So there's a trend in your life of strangers just showing up and changing your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm still very curious as to how these people found you. How did they get your names?
That is an interesting part. So I got to a point, I was signing a first edition book of A New Hope, and they had me turn to the Tatooine page in the book, and there was somebody else's signature on there, and they wanted me to cross it out, and they filmed me doing this and write "You weren't here" and then sign my name below it. And so I stopped at that point and I said, okay, you're having me write that guy is not part of the scene, and yet you're standing in my dining room paying me good money saying that I am. How is that possible? And what they told me was that they had a connection in the Lucas archives, and he was not in the archives, and I was.
Wow, so they must have gone through the production reports, call sheets,
Goodness.
to find your... That is some deep diving there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is, because and I followed it a little bit on the internet, that people knew some of the scenes had been filmed in Death Valley, and there was rumors around that, how that was taking place. A lot of people thought that Kenny Baker was there and a few other people, but the truth really didn't hit the mainstream, as far as I know, until about, I'm going to say about 18 months ago. There was a new article written out of Las Vegas. It's called The Aliens of Death Valley, I believe.
The Aliens of Death Valley?
Yeah, I believe. I can look it up real quick and give you the exact title. And it was a newspaper out of Las Vegas, and they did a little story, and they just didn't have all the names of the kids. So this article was written, I'm pulling it up here. It's out of the Review Journal in Las Vegas, and it was written December 11th, 2016.
Oh, wow.
And it's called Little Aliens in Death Valley. Yes, there's proofs in the original Star Wars is what it's called. So that was written, and I'd actually been contacted by the author of it, but I don't check my Facebook Messenger, so I wasn't in the writing of the article. That was written. There's a gentleman out of Europe that is really deep into research. He had found me, and then these couple individuals were connected with him, and they're big autograph collectors, and they're the ones that came to the house.
Wow, they really wanted you.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that people want those complete collections, and you go for all these years and think that you've collected them all, and then pop up 8 new ones that you had no idea were even out there.
Now, do you collect anything yourself?
No, not particularly. I'll collect Jawa pieces every now and again if I find something I like. Just recently, I bought a original Kenner Jawa figure out of the package, because that's exactly how mine would have been.
Nice.
Did he have a vinyl cape or a cloth cloak?
The cloth cloak.
Okay.
I'm not crazy enough to buy one of those vinyl cape ones. I just saw one on eBay the other day for $20,000.
And you passed it up?
Yeah, but I did post it out there that whoever bought that, I could make it worth $20,020 by signing it. So
Nice. So now, what do you recall when you first saw Star Wars in the theater? Did you yell out, "That's me"? Because I would have.
Right. Well, again, living in Death Valley, we didn't have a lot of options to go see it. So I'm going to back up a little bit and kind of talk about the parental opinion around this film, because Star Wars at that point was absolutely nothing to anybody. Our teacher sat us down and said, "Look, you kids need to get a hold of yourselves. You're not big movie stars. this film isn't going to go anywhere. It probably won't even make the box office.
Wait a minute. Was your teacher named Mrs. Patterson?
No, but that's close.
Okay, because that's the same teacher I had who always sat me down and said, Rich, the Star Wars business will not get you anywhere. So these school teachers must have had a meeting and said, whoever's into Star Wars, talk him out of it.
Right.
So
right.
Why? Why would she say this?
Well, we must have come back and, been pretty full of ourselves.
Okay, that's a good reason. That's a good reason.
And none of the other kids got to participate in it. We actually got paid $25 each in cash.
Oh.
Wow.
Which was probably pretty big, I imagine, for a 5-year-old. That must have been pretty amazing.
Hold on, you know what? Let me ask Siri. How much was $25 in 1976? I guess it's 25.
$25.
Yeah.
Inflation calculator. That's what you need.
All right, we can do that later.
All right.
I'm just very, very curious.
Yes.
Okay, so she didn't want everyone to, I guess, show off in front of the other kids. Well, that's understandable.
Right.
So my mother wrote to my grandmother at the time and said that I was in some second-rate B-grade science fiction film.
Second rate? It was more like third rate.
Yeah. So nobody believed in it. I mean, they thought it was the hokiest thing that had ever come around. Margie the elephant was out there, and they're like, oh, this is going nowhere. This is ridiculous.
Oh, did you get a chance to ride Margie the bantha?
No, we didn't. But it was pretty cool seeing an elephant. That was something we didn't get to see a whole lot of.
No. All right. So after you saw Star Wars, when it became the biggest thing in the world, did you go back to your Mrs. Patterson and say, now, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I don't know that we did. I probably didn't see it until the summertime because we would have had to either drive to Las Vegas to see it or possibly during the summer when I spent it with my grandparents. But I unfortunately don't remember seeing it for the first time in the film or in the movie theater. And I've thought many times it'd be kind of cool to go under hypnosis to pull some of those memories back, to hear people that were a few years older than I was talk about their first time seeing that film in the theater. It just must have been epic.
It was. I remember it. I was 8.
Oh.
I recall it, and it was one of these things that just changes your life because you've never seen anything like it before.
Okay, I've got an answer. I found an inflation calculator.
Okay.
So if you were getting that $25 today, it would have been about $110.
That is a king's ransom for a 5-year-old.
For a 5-year-old to get $110?
Yeah.
Wow. It's like treasure.
And I have no idea what happened to it.
Taxes. It's all taxes.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So now, do you recall when you first saw Star Wars that you remember that you said, oh, there I am?
No, I unfortunately I don't. So the story kind of falls apart. We moved away from there a couple of years later. I do remember standing in line for Empire Strikes Back for several hours. And then there's kind of a funny story about seeing Return of the Jedi. We were in San Francisco with my mom, and it was opening weekend, and we were bugging my mom. We were there to run a small marathon called Beta Breakers, and we were bugging my mom to see Return of the Jedi. And she's like, there's no way we're going to be able to see this film. And we were just going down the street. We're like, hey, they say they have it. You want to see if we can get tickets? And so we walked up and bought 3 tickets to go into the theater. And they opened the door for us. We went right in and we got our popcorn and drink and went to the theater where it was showing. And there was absolutely nobody in there.
What?
My mom's like, man, this thing must be a dud. There's nobody here. So we picked a prime seat, and we're sitting there just kind of waiting for the film to start. And then they opened the side doors where the line was.
Oh my gosh.
And for whatever reason, we didn't know the line was around the corner.
That's the excuse I use, too.
Yeah, and we walked in the front door and had prime seats.
Well, come on, you're a Jawa.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny that after leaving Death Valley, of course, I told the story as a kid, but I don't know how much people kind of believe me or whatever. And for lack of better terms, I kind of became a closet Jawa. It was just some story that I told to a few select people here and there if I got to know them, and it was just my secret with no way to prove it, and that's kind of how it's going to live for the rest of my life is the way I was thinking.
Wow. You know what? When I went to conventions, there was a couple of Jawas here and there, and they would say, "Yeah, I'm a Jawa," and I'm thinking, prove it, because Rusty Goff, who doubled as the Chief Jawa, because Jack Purvis was the Chief Jawa over in Tunisia, and Rusty Goff was the Chief Jawa in the matching shots in Death Valley. I saw him at a convention. He said, "Yeah, I'm the Chief Jawa." This is before the internet where you can go and check.
Yeah, right. And then there was another guy that was setting up a booth right outside saying he was a Jawa and selling his signature for a long time.
Was he ever proven to be a Jawa?
No.
Oh.
He was never a Jawa and never had anything to do with it.
Tatooine scum.
Right?
So now, do you have proof then? I guess your picture in the archives?
The only proof I have is my picture that I have and my story. And then people telling me that I'm in the archives. I've never actually seen it for myself, so.
Oh, wow.
But it all adds up. If he's in the archives, that means his name is in the production reports. And here he's right here. And here's his picture as a Jawa. It's a good thing there's a picture of you with your face shown.
Right.
In the Jawa cloak.
I've had people look at that and they say, yes, that's the actual cloak and bandoliers. I guess they can tell. I wouldn't know the difference, but.
Oh yeah. Oh, when you meet some of these fans, they can pick apart every thread on a Jawa cloak.
Right.
So what kind of fan experience have you had so far? You've been to a couple of conventions, correct?
I've been to one convention, and it was absolutely incredible.
Oh, nice.
I loved every minute of it. Yeah, the fans were awesome. I was really taken aback that people came to just see me. That absolutely blew me away. So, and it was kind of funny, here I was staying at this hotel with the rest of the stars and eating in the restaurants with the rest of these stars and riding on this bus. And, it took me a while to kind of relax around them a little bit. I'm not one of those people that knows who everybody is, recognize them by face or something like that. But I recognize a few people and the rest, Google is my best friend for sure.
And when Anthony Daniels saw you, he freaked out and ran away?
Don't shoot. Will this never end?
No.
He's like, oh no, flashbacks.
Yeah. I had some really excellent experiences with fans over in England and then also with other stars. On the second evening, I was sitting out in a courtyard and we were at these picnic tables and we're sitting there and having some dinner and having a couple of drinks. And this guy sitting across from me is telling stories about working with Frank Sinatra and Elizabeth Taylor, a European actor by the name of Darren Nesbitt, and Billy Boyd from Lord of the Rings. He was telling stories and just super funny guy. And then there was another guy that was sitting right across from me and we were having a good time and we were talking about different things and it was just bugging me. I'm like, I recognize him, but I just have no idea who he is. So conveniently had to use the restroom and pulled out Google and I pulled him up and I was like, oh my God, I'm sitting across from Darth Maul.
Oh,
wow, yeah.
Yeah, so
he's awesome.
Are you and Ray Park now good buddies?
I wouldn't say that. I doubt he even remembers me, but we had fun that night.
Have you made any other friends with the cast of Star Wars?
Friends? No, acquaintances. Yeah, I had a beer with Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, nice.
Wow, yeah. Look at you go.
Yeah, we watched a soccer game together. That was pretty epic, and he was telling me some funny stories. He asked my story, and we were talking about I've got 3 daughters, and one of them was really high ranked in soccer for a long time, and he's like, "Oh, what do they think of your Star Wars?" And I'm like, I don't think they really care. He's like, "You know what?" He said, "Mine didn't care until I did like a little 30-second blip on a Beyonce music video." all the stuff that he did. It took a Beyonce video to make him famous with his own kids.
Oh, these kids nowadays.
Yeah. Danny Glover was there. He was a great guy. I talked with him for a long time.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun. It couldn't have been a better event.
Oh, that's so cool. So that was your very first event. Are you planning on more, and where can fans come and meet you?
Well, the only one that we have planned for this year, for 2019, is Empire Con in Los Angeles.
The weekend of December 8th?
Yeah, 6th, 7th, and 8th, I believe.
That will be very, very exciting, because this is going to be a huge, huge Star Wars event that rivals Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. We were really hoping to go to Celebration. They're kind of going a different direction this year, which is unfortunate. They're not using a lot of the original cast members. More of the newer stuff, so that's fine. But Empire Con it's going to be epic. They're talking 60 plus guests and a lot of interactions. So I think that's going to be the event of the year, to be honest.
I wouldn't agree more.
Yeah,
because when I go to the Celebration conventions, I always look forward to meeting the classic era actors, and I don't think even Mark Hamill's been invited yet.
What?
Celebration.
Oh, he has.
I don't know. Nothing's come up yet, but I'm sure he's going to be there. Oh, man. So now, if the Skywalkers out there want to get in touch with you on social media, how can they do that? Do you have a Twitter account, Facebook?
Oh, yeah, let's see. So my Facebook goes under Tim Donaldson, and you can see it's me as a Jawa. That's my profile picture. So that's a pretty easy one to find. And then my Instagram is Death Valley Jawa _ in between Death and Valley and Jawa.
Oh, wait. So Death _ Valley _ Jawa.
Yep, correct. My Twitter is @DV Jawa.
All right, so before we wrap things up, are there any other stories that you want to tell us? Anything that we missed?
Oh, geez. I think we kind of got the basic of what happened with us here in Death Valley so many years ago, and how it's transpired for me. It's, like I said, it's been kind of a little bit of a roller coaster here the past year. My career was a small blip back in 1977 and stayed dead flat for 41 years. And all of a sudden it's, people actually view me as somewhat of a star, and that's just mind blowing to me.
Well, Star Wars is the gift that keeps on giving.
It is.
Oh, it's phenomenal, and I couldn't be more pleased to be a part of it.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that here locally in Sacramento, I'm helping Make-A-Wish out with a couple of events this year, just some small stuff, and to me that's what really means the most is now I can actually have an impact towards doing good around. There's a couple of events that take place here in town. The Intergalactic Expo on May 5th is one that I'm helping promote. Unfortunately, I won't be in town to participate, but I look forward to helping them in the future. And all the proceeds for that go to Make-A-Wish.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Nice.
Do you think by your upcoming appearances, you'll have your own Jawa cloak? If you can't do one in vinyl. It'll really set yourself apart.
Yeah.
It's funny to me. I just don't think I'd look the same being 6 foot tall. People would ask if I was old Ben Kenobi or something.
Ever see the movie Elf?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell was the tall elf. You can tell him, hey, you know what? Maybe I was taken in by the Jawas, and I was an actual human, and I just grew. That's you know what? You can write your own backstory.
Right.
You're your own character. Just you can call yourself Buddy the Jawa.
Yeah. Yeah. There's pictures out there of me having the bandolier on and holding the actual Jawa prop gun, but nobody's gotten me into a cloak yet. So.
Oh, give it time. Well, Tim, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your stories. And like we were saying earlier, they're always so much more exciting when you hear them from the people who are actually there.
All right. Thank you very much for having me on.
Shout-outs, Skywalker shout-outs. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who was tweeted out? Shout-out. Who was photobombed? Shout-out. Who was shared a post? Shout-out.
We want to give a big shout out to Roku Depot. Roku Depot shares a Podcasts in Review post every week in which he summarizes and ranks several Star Wars podcasts. So it's a great way to see who is talking about what and find fun podcasts to listen to, especially if you don't have time to listen to a lot of shows.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
I will determine what I'm going to listen to that week because of his rating system and what shows that are making his top 5.
Yeah, and Skuldrin is the one who writes these, and we frequently make his top 5, so we just wanted to give a big shout out to Roku Depot for listening and sharing every single week. So, Skywalkers, check out RokuDepot.com, and that is spelled RoQoodepot.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of work that we can't do and listening to all these podcasts.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, now I want to share and give a big shout out to Kai Charles because she sent me a Galentine's Day card.
So you face huggers can see this right now.
Yeah.
See that?
Look at this amazing, it's like Art Deco Princess Leia with, let's see, X-Wing and Millennium Falcon.
And there's a Bausch down there.
And a Death Star coming out. It's like, it's very Art Deco-y. It's gold lame on, like a pink background, and it says, "Happy Galentine's Day, you glorious, perfect-haired space princess. You're too good for this galaxy. But I'm so glad you're in it." Kai. And some beautiful stickers, too. So I just want to give a big shout out to Kai. And how awesome is this? She said that these cards she found at Target. So, Galentine's Day cards.
Well, I am a sucker for Star Wars holiday crossovers.
Yes, you are. Now there's a Galentine's Day Star Wars crossover.
Oh, how did I miss that?
I wonder if there's a Broentine's Day cards or something. But Galentine's kind of works a little better.
See, after this, I'm going to run down to Target, which is right down the street, and see if they have any left over.
Okay.
I will buy a batch of these.
Let's do it. Now, I want to give a big shout out to our Facebook group. We are always having new members join, and I just want to share an example of just how amazing our Skywalkers are. Now, Dora Speck joined our group last week and posted that she was new and said, "Hello, my name is Dora. I'm 27 and totally blind. I'm new to this podcast, but I'm enjoying every moment of it so far. Thanks for accepting me." And under her post, there are no less than 39 comments from Skywalkers welcoming her to the group. So I just want to thank you, Skywalkers, for being so welcoming and inclusive, and we love you guys.
We also want to welcome her with this Skywalker of the Week.
Dora Speck, Dora Speck, Dora Speck.
Oh, yay. Aw.
So thank you, Rob Dellinger. He's got a very, very busy schedule right now.
Yes.
So we haven't had a Skywalker of the Week in a while, but he saw this post and he got right on it.
Yeah.
And to catch Rob in his new band, the Alpha Rhythm Kings, go over to his website, alpharhythmkings.com. He's always touring. This man is busy.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So thank you. And he's also writing a new celebration jingle for us. Lots of celebration stuff to come.
Well, that wraps up episode 239 of
Skywalking Through Neverland. We'd like to thank Tim Donaldson for coming on and sharing all of his great stories of life under a Jawa hood. Wait, would it be a Jawa hoodie? That's the Jawa hood.
Jawa hood.
Jawa hood, yes. And we want to thank all you Skywalkers for listening every week, commenting on our Facebook post, and coming out to our video shoots.
Yeah, and also tuning in live on
And
Facebook.
tuning in live, yes. So you're very, very supportive, and we can't wait to give you all a big Wookiee hug at Star Wars Celebration Chicago. We'll have to do one of those, what do you call those lines at weddings where you go and meet and greet the husband and wife? The bride and the groom?
Conga line?
No. Well, it's one of those
mean.
lines, but we just have a line and just give everyone a big hug.
All right.
Sometimes English just fails me.
It's okay. Well, speaking of support, if you would like more Skywalking Through Neverland in your life or would just like to support us, please check out skywalkingforce.com. That's where we plus up our content and offer extras just for you. So be a part of the Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com. You can also support us in a different way. Just share the show with a friend. Or you can click on the links to Pozu shoes, Oppo suits, or TeePublic on our website, skywalkingthroughneverland.com. And Richard, you can attest that those Oppo suits...
Yes, they get attention.
They get attention.
Yeah, you will not recede it into the background if you're wearing an Oppo suit. Daisy Ridley has commented. Samuel Jackson commented at the press conference. He
That's
said,
right.
Hey, like your jacket.
So did Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige liked the jacket. So if you want a conversation starter, get an Oppo suit.
Yep, and click on those links at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Yep. Now, Justin Smith just said on Facebook here, he said, I want a Skywalker conga line.
Okay, we can arrange that. Aww.
Nice. And then we'll put that up on YouTube.
Now, also on YouTube, you can subscribe at youtube.com/skywalkingthroughneverland, and we will be posting our Captain Marvel press conference, which there are no spoilers there because they made a point at the opening to say, hey, no, please don't ask us questions that are spoilers. Which is kind of unusual because really at a press conference, you can finally ask those questions because you've seen the film, but they didn't want any spoilers.
But of course, people did.
Did they?
Yeah, they said, what was your favorite scene to film? Or what was your favorite scene after watching the movie?
Oh, yeah, but then they didn't answer.
No.
They didn't answer it.
That's when the MC from Rotten Tomatoes said, let's not go there.
Yeah.
Like I just said.
That's right. So, no spoilers. So, we'll be posting that very soon.
All right, now you can also find Skywalking Through Neverland at JediNews.co.uk and Bantha Tracks.
And you can also find us on social media and see Goose the Cat on social media.
Oh my goodness. Just sit down before watching this.
I know.
Sit down and get ready to go, and be prepared to get a cat.
Seriously. Like, the number of people who are going to want to adopt orange tabby cats is going to skyrocket
Through the
after
roof.
this movie. Okay. Well, we are at Skywalking Pod for Twitter and Instagram. You can also join, once again, our lovely and welcoming Facebook group. You can search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland, and you can request to join, and then just answer those questions that pop up.
And as always, we want to hear your reviews, Skywalkers. You can go over there to Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, and always want to hear your feedback.
And as a reminder, please send in those videos of you dancing to Dare to Dream.
Yes, the sooner the better, but our cutoff really will be March the 11th. But the song's only 3 minutes.
Okay.
So there's only so much room we have for everyone.
That's true.
So please send in those videos.
The sooner you do, the more likely you are to be in it.
All right, now stay tuned for bloopers and other fun conversational bits that didn't fit into the show. And always remember...
Neverland on Alderaan.
Some imagination, huh?
To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant Mark Augushowitz. Technical advisor Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators Donald Wicks, Joey Pittman, and Norma Heitman.
Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, all rights reserved. Sorry, had to be said.
And just to make it clear, I am the youngest cast member.
Oh, nice! Oh,
Yeah.
And for all these years, I thought it was Carrie Fisher.
She was, 14 years, 15 years older than I was, I think?
Yeah, she was 19.
Yeah, 19.
Wow.
Wow, that's something to put on your resume or to put on your autographs. The youngest cast member in Star Wars.
So thanks, Rob, and wow, yeah. If you guys, I'm used to saying if you guys want to be Sky. Okay, never mind. Blah.
We have been we've been waiting to cough for about 30 minutes. Okay, fine.
Now we're recording, so you can't rant anymore.
Best visual effects first. What?
You stopped before I hit you.
Is that? A man landing on the moon wins the best visual effects?
Yeah, didn't we?
Did they not see the Kessel Run?
Apollo 13. You know, come on, that was done. Okay.
Oh, hey, Carl.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, this is my.
See, now I'm on a rant.
Okay. No,
I'm in the mood of a rant.
No, you know what though? We have a lot to talk about on this episode, including Peter.
Okay.
So
all right. Bring it down.
Bring it down.
Bring it down.
I'm recording.
Here we go.
We got 41 seconds of your rant.
Is that it? You missed the first 50 minutes.
Oh, no. Okay. That means I have to have them. All right.
We'll see.
I know.
If only your birthday was coming up.
Oh, but it is coming up.
Dang it. All right, see you guys next week. Thank you, Mark.
Bye, guys.
Thanks to anyone else who is there. Eric Walker, I think you're still there. Hey, guys. Yeah. See you later on. Bye-bye.
I can't abide those Jawas. Disgusting creatures.